Hi guys. Okay, we're going to talk about poetic devices. Yes, we're going to be looking at poems. You're not getting away from them. So please have your notebook open and ready to take notes on these for as much or as little as you need. Notes tend to help me remember stuff, and I think a lot of you wrote in your feedback from your surveys that you liked writing stuff out sometimes and not always having to do things digitally. So this is the why behind the what. So we're going to talk about poetic devices. The first one is alliteration. This is when a series of words in a row or close together have the same first consonant sound. Examples: Carrie's cat clawed her couch, creating chaos. Kim's kids kept kicking. Now, it doesn't always have to be directly next to each other like that. Sometimes you could have a couple words in between, but if you have a constant consonant sound that's repeated, it is called alliteration. This one's easy. It's end rhyme. You guys have been doing this since first grade. It's when the end of the sentences rhyme. A word is dead when it is said. Some say, I say it begins to live that day. So it's when the ending rhyme. You can have A, B pattern. You can have A, B pattern. There's a lot of different end rhyme patterns. The next one is imagery. Imagery makes use of particular words that create a visual representation of ideas in your mind, so it appeals to the five senses. So saying, it was dark and dim in the forest. The words dark and dim appear to your visual images. The children were screaming and shouting in the fields. Screaming and shouting appeal to our sense of hearing or our auditory sense. He whiffed the aroma of brewed coffee. Whiff and aroma evoke our sense of smell. The girl ran her hand on a soft satin fabric. The soft in this appeals to our sense of touch or tactile. The fresh and juicy orange is very cold and sweet, so the juicy and sweet associated with orange make us think of our taste. So imagery is used in writing to get us to be able to have a better picture or image of what they're talking about. Next is metaphors and similes. Metaphor is a figure of speech that makes an implicit, implied, or hidden comparison between two things that are unrelated but share some common characteristics. So an example, my brother was boiling mad. So obviously his brother was not literally boiling, but boiling mad meaning he was extremely angry. The assignment was a breeze. Obviously it didn't blow away, it just meant that it was not difficult. It is going to be clear skies from now on. Well, clear skies imply that it's not a threat and things are going without hardship. So that would be a metaphor. A simile is different in that it uses like or as. So our soldiers are as brave as lions. Her cheeks are red like a rose. He is as funny as a monkey. The water well was dry as a bone. So this is similes use like or as, metaphors do not. The next one is onomatopoeia. This word means it's imitating the natural sound of something. So the buzzing bee flew away. The sack fell under the river with a splash. The books fell on the table with a loud thump. He looked at the roaring, well, I guess I didn't finish my thought there. He looked at the roaring lion. I should probably change that. The rustling leaves kept me awake. So these are all examples of words that they sound like the actual sound. Okay, moving on. So the next one is personification. It is a thing, an idea, or an animal. It's when it's given human attributes. So it's a non-human object given a human quality. So, for example, the wind whispered through the dry grass. The flowers danced in the gentle breeze. The fire swallowed the entire forest. Whispering, dancing, and swallowing, those are all human characteristics given to the grass, the breeze, and the forest. So next is repetition, and this is pretty simple. It's just repeating the same words or phrases over and over again to make an idea clearer or make it more memorable. Think about those kitty litter commercials like meow, 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 meow. Those are obviously they're trying to get you to remember the name, the meow mix of the brand and get it stuck in your head. So repetition is used a lot in advertising. Symbolism. This is the use of symbols to signify ideas and qualities by giving them symbolic meanings. So, example, a dove is typically a symbol of peace. A red rose, or even the color red, tends to stand for romance. Black in our culture represents death or evil, where white tends to mean more of the godly or angelic figures. This is one that people struggle with. It's tone. It's the manner in which a writer approaches the subject. The tone can be formal, informal, serious, comic, sarcastic, sad, cheerful, or any other attitude. It's basically the attitude we get from the writer. So, for example, father says, "We're going on a vacation." Son, "That's great." The tone of the response is cheerful. Example 2, father, "We can't go on vacation this summer." Son, "Yeah, that's great. That's what I expected." The son's tone becomes sarcastic, where it's like verbal irony there. He doesn't really mean it's great. Where in the first one, he really does mean that's great. Another example. "Yeah, your grades on this exam will be as good as the previous exams." And it's a pessimistic tone. Or if someone comes in there into the room and yells, "Can someone tell me what the hell is going on in here?" That's an aggressive tone. So tone is based on what you get from the author. Now, in the reverse of that, mood is how you feel. How to explain that would be this. When someone speaks to you and they are sarcastic, they have a sarcastic tone. Your mood can then change to defensive or upset or angry because of their sarcastic tone. That's the best way that I can describe that. The next one is anaphora. This is the deliberate repetition of the first part of a sentence to achieve an artistic effect. So, every day, every night, in every way, I'm getting better and better. My life is my purpose. My life is my goal. My life is my inspiration. Buying diapers for the baby, feeding the baby, playing with the baby. This is what your life is when you have a baby. So it's repetition, but it's repetition in order, usually in the first part. The next one is foreshadowing. You guys know what foreshadowing is. It is when there's a hint of what's to come later in the story. There's clues given by the author for you to pick up on about what can happen later in the story. Sometimes we don't pick up on these clues and we think about them after the fact. But other times it's when you're watching that movie or when you're reading that book and you're like, "Oh, I bet," and you make a prediction. The prediction is based on these foreshadowing things left by the author or the director or writer or whoever. Okay, so those are the poetic devices. You're now going to practice using them by analyzing a poem from one of our authors this week. That'll be tomorrow, I think.